Okay. Are we live? Wow. Hello, everybody. So we have Angie and Michelle who are just back from Pet Pro Classic. I did not go because I instead went to my grandson's graduation, which was, by the way, canceled due to weather.
Oh my gosh.
How did they even do that?
No, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this. The weather was bad. There were roads that were literally washed out.
Mm.
So, but we flew out from Washington to New Hampshire. So it's rescheduled for next week, but we can't make it back. I can't get the dogs boarded for next weekend in order to do that. And I feel like I should give my boarding invoice and new plane tickets, give it over to the Department of Education there in New Hampshire. But you know what? That's not feasible either. But anyway, we had fun.
So did you get to see him graduate?
No, because they canceled the graduation.
When did they reschedule
Next
it
Friday.
for? Ah,
No, there's just simply no way. My daughter said she'll live stream it for me.
okay.
So there'll be that. Whatever. I got then to spend time with my grandkids, and life is good. Did Angie just freeze? She's froze.
Is
She
Angie
was.
frozen?
What's that?
Oh yeah, she's frozen. So Dallas was good. There she goes.
I froze. Sorry.
Dallas was good. Classes were fantastic. As usual, great students, willing to learn. Everybody was happy. It was a good show. It's a good show.
Yeah, I saw the list of classes that Scott had there, and I thought he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
There were a lot of really good classes there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming, Michelle, you did skin and coat.
No.
You didn't?
No, I did the introductory to topical herbal remedies.
Oh.
And that was an amazing class. It was the first time ever presenting that. And I think it went really well. And then I did a hands-on workshop about understanding shampoo, basically. And they had a little kit that they could mix. You could actually have one base shampoo and conditioner. And then with additives that are economical, make your own antibacterial, your own antifungal, your own all that other stuff. So we talked about that, and that was a 2-hour class. And then my last two were the handling of difficult dogs.
And I'm going to give props to the trade shows, because when I first started going to the trade shows, classes like that, there were no shampoo classes.
Mm-hmm. You know what? And I always shout out Barbara Bird. Because she did it so long ago, and she was so ahead of her time that they didn't understand what she was trying to do. But I always pop her out in class and use her Suds and Sense book and direct them that way, because that's really a good handbook on learning about ingredients, and you should know about your products that you put your hands in all the time.
Yes. Okay. Angie, what did you teach?
I had 4. I had elevate your grooming salon to a pet spa. Photography for your grooming salon. Um, aggressive cats. And the first one I taught was on Friday.
For those who are thinking, well, why can't Angie remember the first class she taught there? Let me tell you something. Going to a trade show, especially when you're teaching a lot of classes, that's not that difficult to do.
The it's a good question. Let's see. Those,
All right, Angie. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that.
I don't particularly remember. It was a good
Yeah,
class.
It was a whirlwind. Sometimes it just blends all together between talking to people and visiting with friends that you haven't seen for a long time, and
Being up to 36 hours.
yeah. Looking at the schedule just to make sure you're not late to your class. Which one of them I was late for 4 minutes because I was talking to Scott of all people. I said, "Oh, I think I better go to class." He's like, "Oh gosh, yeah, 4 minutes." So yeah, it happens.
Okay, I set alarms for mine an hour and then a half hour beforehand so that I make sure that I get there and set up and walk with me if you want to talk to me. But yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, it wasn't like that one moment. Usually I am too. I'm a half an hour early to all my classes, but this one just was like, okay, here we are.
You can absolutely lose track of time. So, new products that were out there, what did we see?
I saw the lovely Michelle with Handle It. They came out with a new attachment. I think it does use Handle It as well, but it attaches to your arm, and then it rotates around, and you can put the hose in it for those who love to fluff and need two hands. I think it's an amazing product. It's just an improvement on everything else that's out there, and I think it's probably the best thing. She demonstrated it, and I think it's just fantastic. I like
Doodlegate. I finally remember Doodlegate.
Doodlegate.
About the
Yes.
proper intake forms, the lawsuit that happened, the groomer that lost the lawsuit, how she lost the lawsuit, why she lost the lawsuit, what mistakes were made, how you cannot make them. Basically, how to cover your behind on paper.
Okay, so what's the next show? There's another show. Pasadena's coming up, isn't it?
Pet Quest 2.
Pet Quest. All right, so there's a lot of opportunity to get some education. I will say I will give kudos to Scott Lauridsen. I thought when I saw the schedule, I thought it was absolutely amazing. Was sorry I was not going.
It was a really good show. It was a really good show. The students were so engaged, involved, and excited for all of it.
Tell me about the location. This is a new location, right?
It's
no, it's the same as last year.
Okay, but it's 2 years in this spot, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it's a great little hotel. It's called the Texican at Colinas or something. It's really nice, and they have retro rooms with big barn doors to cut off the bathroom area. They've got little retro refrigerators stocked full of everything, of course. But it's a really cute room. It's clean. The ice is an old, it looks like reclaimed wood boxes that are set next to the elevator, and you go and you lift it up, and they have the ice, and it's bagged, so you can take as many packages and then put them in the freezer of your little thing. Just nice. It's a nice experience. I wish they had a microwave in the room, though. That would be complete, I think.
All right. The reason I asked is I will most likely be there next year because my grandson that's graduating is going to Georgetown. So, a tax deductible trip to see my grandson. What can I say?
So, yeah, and the Irving Convention Center is it's massive. Like,
it's big.
Wow. So the trade show's on the first floor, and the trade show area is just it's huge. And then you go up the escalators or elevator to the third floor, and there's a concession stand. They had like a charging station, ATM, bathrooms, all this bunch of stuff down on the first floor. And then you go up, 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 and then the coolest part is if you go outside, you can see off there's a deck on the second and third floor, and like the building is like has patios where you can sit outside, and there's a cafe on the second floor. You can go in and get lunch, and you can see the entire city from the convention.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
so cool.
it's beautiful.
And so you can hang out there and just watch the city go by. And it was really cool. Um, I ended up going down after Doodlegate on Friday. I went down to Dealey Plaza because I like to sightsee when I go somewhere
Hmm.
because I'm there. Why not see what you can see when you go somewhere, right? And I like history. Lived in Massachusetts for a very long time, so I wanted to go to Dealey Plaza, and I did, and it was very sad, very somber.
Did they have like a memorial there?
They had a no. It was like the whole place was covered in
Oh
like
yeah, it's like the
memorial
thing.
stuff. And there's two X's in the road. One where President Kennedy was shot the first time.
Ooh.
One where he was shot the second time.
Interesting. Can you still walk on the grassy knoll?
Yep, and the fence is a recreation of the fence that was there in the 60s.
Oh wow.
It's exactly the same. And so I took a ton of pictures. They had the reflecting pools there. They had a memorial with, they had a museum in the old book depository.
Hmm.
And the window is open during the day. It was rough. I had a tough time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a tough time with it. Um, I don't know. But I stood on the grassy knoll and stood behind the fence, and
Mhm.
it just it was tough. It was tough.
Hmm.
So yeah, there were quite a few people there, and you know, uh, but that aside, the
How
architecture.
how far away was that from where we were staying?
It was I think I don't know exactly how far, but it was $20 by Uber.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
20 there, 20 back.
Yeah.
Um, worth it, worth
Mhm.
it. And so the architecture, the other buildings around, the architecture was stunning. These people were master craftsmen. Just to see those buildings, it was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, just gorgeous, gorgeous work. It was absolutely stunning.
Hmm.
And of course, they had the memorial to, um, it's called Dealey Plaza because it's named after, I believe his name is John Dealey.
Hmm.
And so his memorial is there as well. Um, he was a teacher and a philanthropist and that as well. So, but yeah, it was tough.
All right, but it's nice to go when you're in some place that you haven't been to before to
Hmm.
see what the surrounding area is as. One of the things that my grandson at Georgetown, he's going to be working for some outfitter who takes people on like hiking and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That's
I'm
cool.
like, so yeah, so we bought him a good pair of hiking boots that are up a little high.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know?
he's gonna eat 'em.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things to see in Texas.
there's a lot to see in Texas. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I'll get down there next year.
Mhm.
Okay. So, moving it along. All right. So we have a couple people who are not here. Denise has the audacity to go on vacation.
The audacity.
She's in Poland,
I
Mhm.
know.
which is so cool.
So she's not here. And Chris thought she'd be here.
She's on a plane right now. She thought she could live stream from the plane. We're like, that's
In what
not a
world?
that's not a thing. You can't just no.
I mean, you can, but you have to pay a lot of money to do it.
And maybe in first class. Pretty sure she's in coach.
I don't know.
No, there's like rules and stuff like that. It's like you can't actually make phone calls,
Right, but you can access the internet.
but you can access the internet.
But you can't do anything. You just look at it.
So maybe she could watch this.
Right.
But
I couldn't even access my Audible list with the Wi-Fi.
well, you have to be careful with that too. So what I do is, in order to get my Audible books when I'm on a plane, I make sure I download it first,
Right.
make sure that it's open. So if I want a second book that I'm reading and I didn't bother to like open it before I went on the plane, then I'm out of luck.
Right.
That's what happened to me because I had like three hours left or 2 hours left on the book I was listening to.
Mm-hmm.
And I got on the plane, and the last half an hour I was like,
Oh, you want to hear about my ordeal? Oh my gosh, this is the first time this has ever happened to me. I know it happened to others, and I was just living a blessed life. But now I understand. I mean, I understood before, but I understand now from experience. So the plane was supposed to leave at 8:05. So I got there by, I don't know, 6:30, because, you have to go through bag check and security and all that other stuff. So I went, and I thought I'll get a little BLT because I'll have plenty of time to have a little sit-down snack, a little bit of dinner, and then we'll get on the plane and I'll sleep the whole time and it'll be great, because that's what usually happens. So then I see on my little app, oh, it's moved up to 8:44. Now it's moved up to 9. And I'm like, okay, but by this time I was at the gate. So it started boarding. So we boarded. Half of us boarded, and then they shut it down, and they said, oh, well, the pilot that is supposed to be flying our plane isn't even here yet, and he's an hour away. Oh, it gets better. So much better. So then everybody's grumbling and this, that, and the other. And this over-enthusiastic man, an older man, not a geriatric, but a middle-aged man, wearing a Hawaiian T-shirt, hurriedly goes up to the front, and they're talking. And then we get a message from the attendant. I call them sky waitresses, and I shouldn't, but that's the words that come into my brain. Then she gets on the horn and says, oh, well, we have a guy here that just finished his training, and oh, it gets so much better. And we're going to call the company. We're calling the company now to see if he's allowed to fly us. But he's our guy. It's fine. He's our guy. And everybody in the back is like, yeah, get him. Let's get in the air. Let's do this. Meanwhile, this grade 4 storm is on the way, and with rain and everything. And that's who you want to fly the plane through a storm. And he just got his ink ain't even wet on his little certificate.
let me out.
Oh my God. They did give people the option to leave and get another plane or whatever. But I was already in my window seat. We'd already, so then they say, no, he's flown too many hours for his status or whatever the hell, whatever. And then, so we have to wait for the pilot to get there. So the pilot finally gets there, and this is like 2 more hours later. And I was supposed to be home at 8:30 in Phoenix from Dallas. I got home at 3 a.m. because once he got there, the storm rolled in, and we all just sat on the airplane. And I don't understand why they just can't board us when we're ready to go. I don't get that. Okay. And I was planning on getting some water, and literally I thought I was going to have to drink my own pee to survive. Like, there was no water. That no one was saying I had to press the the lady, and she came and she said, "Yeah, I could get you water, but we're not running services." I'm like, "I didn't ask for services. I asked to survive. I need some water." Yeah.
That's why before I get on a flight, I make sure I have a loaded Dr. Pepper, and I always have my snacks.
But what's killing me is that I know all this already. This is not my first time. And yet I have failed twice now in certain areas during this trip.
You know, listen,
What the heck is going on?
I love my Delta Lounge. Get in there, stuff myself silly, bring a cup of tea. So the flight I was into to Boston, okay, there was an issue. Now my philosophy is this: if there's something wrong with the plane, I'm okay. I will wait. I will wait until you fix it, and then we can fly. I'm okay with that. It's why I will do my best not to do like connecting flights if that's possible. This way, if I'm late, whatever, we're fine. I don't have a connecting flight. Okay. So the pilot was like really clear on this, is that the issue was that the co-pilot felt it was unsafe and they wanted to get a sign off on the engineers from Atlanta. Now we're in Seattle. Delta's main office is in Atlanta. They wanted them to sign off on the plane before they got into the air. All right. And it turns out the problem was, and this is why the co-pilot was a little, let's get the sign off on it, because his window looked like it was duct taped. I have since learned that it's called speed tape. And by the way, Angie, you can get it on Amazon.
Okay.
Okay. So he wanted to make sure that he was not going to get sucked out of that window.
Oh my God. Because it's happened before. And that was fair.
It has happened before. So I'm like, okay, I will wait. But again, you know, you're sitting in a hot plane. In fact, it got to the point where they said, everybody, if you want to, you can debark. Is that what it's called? Debark?
Deplane.
Deplane.
Debark is on a boat.
Disembark. There we go. And so we did. We went back to the Delta Lounge, ate some more stuff, and then came back.
Well,
it was the pilot that was making the call. He was like, I don't want to get sucked out of this plane. He might have been, I don't know, a new pilot. You know, I don't know.
We had a brand new pilot on our.
Yeah, brand spanking new. And on mine, so on the plane, on the flight there, plane lands, was hit by lightning. One of the engines was hit by lightning. So it's sitting there. They're working on it. And so like 2 hours go by. And I'm like, I happen to know a jet mechanic. Can I just call him up? He can get this fixed and we can get right back on the road. And he's former Navy, so he can do this at speed. So let me just give him a call. We're not that far in Atlanta. We can, you know, he'd probably be here in a couple hours. You guys wouldn't even have this fixed by then.
Yeah, Caleb, Restream again is not playing nice with Facebook. I am planning on moving this to another platform. I just literally have not had the time to sit down and do like a test run on it. I will put it on my to-do list to see that happens, but whatever. Okay. So
then, wait. On the way back, so I get on the shuttle for 3 o'clock. Okay. 3 a.m. I didn't sleep because, you know, I had to get everything ready. By the time we got back after dinner and all that, it was, I don't know, somewhat late. And then I'm like, all right, I got to get all my ducks in a row and gotta prepare for the 3 a.m. shuttle. Okay. Get to the airport. Flight's delayed. Okay. So going to have to book another flight, get back on the shuttle, go back to the hotel. They give me the key back. I go back into the hotel because I'm like, I checked, and they're like, it's fine. I didn't even do the paperwork on it yet here. I'm like, all right, cool. Go in, hang out for 2 hours, turn around, get back on a shuttle, go back to the airport. But when when they rebooked my flight through the Delta app, it was for the wrong airport. So it wasn't the same airport. They were just like, hey, look, these all leave from Dallas. And I'm like, I'm not really awake at this point because I've been awake for 24 hours. And I'm just like, click. Go to the airport. I'm like, it's not doing the thing. I don't know why it's not doing the thing. She's like, that's the wrong airport. She's looking at me like, you're an idiot. I'm like, no. So I'm like, all right, go back outside. I'm like, I can't even see. Redo flight to correct airport. Clicky, clicky, clicky. All right, there, we're on the right airport. Go back inside, check in, go there. Flight delayed. I'm just like, finally get out because there's lightning just like go all through the sky. Finally get on the plane, get out, go to Atlanta. There's lightning everywhere. I'm just like, oh, we gonna die. We gonna die. This is bad. Land in Atlanta. Okay, cool. Skies go, it's beautiful. It's nice. I'm like, great. I got like a 2-hour layover. Should get out of here, no problem. 5 minutes before it's supposed to board. I sent you the picture, Michelle.
Yeah.
Sky turns black. Sun disappears. Lightning. I'm just like,
you have entered another dimension.
Just kill me now. So flight delayed. What a surprise.
Crazy.
So I'm just like, oh my God. So I'm wandering around the airport because I cannot sit still again. I can't do that for this long. It's making me crazy. So I'm pushing the bags through the airport. And so another 2 hours go by and I'm like, okay, should be boarding. Cool. I go back. Boarding will begin in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, flight delayed.
Oh my gosh.
What are you kidding me?
Okay. My worst flight.
4 in the afternoon.
Okay. So Anessa and I were going to go on vacation, but this is when I had the original van. So we drove it down to South Carolina because Curtis was going to do a whole bunch of upgrades in it for me. And then we flew out to Phoenix so we can go to Sedona for the week, come back. And the plan is that we were coming back. We were landing in landing in Washington.
I remember this.
And then Ernesto was going to fly to South Carolina to drive the van home. I was flying into Westchester because I had to leave to go to Chicago for the H.H. Backer show in a couple of days. So was going to get the dogs, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Again, the whole thing, the plane broke, fix it. Right. So we're sitting at Phoenix Airport and delay. And so now they reroute us. Ernesto is flying into North Carolina and then into South Carolina. And then I'm flying into Philadelphia and then over to Westchester. Okay. His goes off without a hitch. Right. I will have like a 4-hour layover in Philadelphia. Okay. So I get to Philadelphia. And then there's delay. So my 4 hours shrunk to 2.5 hours, shrunk to an hour, and then it shrunk to a half hour. Philadelphia is a really big airport, really big. Okay. So I was coming in on the A gate. I had 20 minutes to go from A to E where my flight was taken off. I ran Okay. I ran it. Okay. It was like the old O.J. Simpson commercial where he's like jumping over people,
Yes.
luggage to get to, yeah, that was me. Okay. So I'm flying through the airport. I get there and I sit down, and I swear to you, as I sit down, delay, delay.
Mhm.
I'm looking for the machine so I could like restart my heart,
Mhm, mhm.
making sure. And that was the only, they didn't have, there was nothing open in there. It was everything was closed. I wanted something to eat, something to drink. I had to go back to then at least to D.
Mhm, mhm.
And then they lost my luggage.
Oh my god. It's only funny now. It's not
Oh yeah,
funny
yeah,
then at
yeah.
all.
No, it is funny now. I can
Oh,
look back
yeah.
and ha 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 ha. But I guarantee you, at the time, it was not. Okay,
Yeah.
so we just have enough time. Angie doesn't have a weird animal fact, so I'm just going to do a plant fact at you.
Oh, why not? I like it.
Okay, so lavender. I actually do like lavender. It's not like my most favorite plant, but I do like it. And being here in Squim, the lavender capital of the world, you think I would appreciate it more. Anyway, the reason I appreciate it now is because the deer don't like it. I was gotten really tired of planting the mums and the geraniums and all the other plants that I like, and the deer thinking it's a very expensive buffet for them.
Is it not?
Apparently, they,
You planted it outside.
you know,
You may as well just put a sign that says "Come
buffet.
munch here." Yeah.
Um, but anyway, so they don't like lavender. So got tired of replanting everything. So now everything is lavender, lavender, lavender all over the place. That is deer accessible. But there's 20 different varieties of lavender. I probably have 5 or 6 different varieties in my yard as it is. Okay, so I
Can
guess
you
we're
hear the
done.
dog snoring in the
I do
background?
want to. I do want to tell Amber. Yes, I missed you too, and I know you were running around. And I am so glad your class came off wonderful. I hear all good things about it, and I had an excellent hour-long discussion with your husband. It was amazing. So
Oh, so Amber taught her first class. Was that her first class?
yeah, because the people who were going to teach it, she's just supposed to be an assistant. Either went in the hospital or something happened or whatever, and she was left teaching the entire class.
Okay, congratulations, Amber.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like an hour long.
It was a 4-hour
Oh,
safety.
jeez.
Yeah. It was a lot.
Okay, so ladies, everybody, we will see you next week.
I will actually have a weird animal fact because
Okay,
I will not be chasing my tail the entire day.
okay. So congratulations, Amber, again, and we will see everybody.